I mean, I went through a lot of different titles. I just couldn't decide what was there. I think I thought about how do you climax? It's like I wanted to say you climax, bro, but I thought
Bro, you there yet, bro?
it was a little too masculine.
There were so
if
many
it
responses.
if it
So
was it
many.
wasn't if it wasn't such a sexist thing to say, it would have been fucking hilarious.
I mean, maybe the question is, are you sure you know what a climax is? Can you recognize it in the wild? If you can't,
Wait a minute. Is this the search for the hypothetical G spot again?
little man in the canoe.
The little man in the canoe.
I hadn't heard that expression in a while. Wow. Wow.
The search for the doorbell.
Search for the doorbell.
Let's see. Sometimes when you ask a question, you have no idea what type of answer you're going to get, Matt says. Sometimes you know exactly what type of answer is coming. Phrasing.
And when you know the company you keep, you know exactly what kind of answer you're going to get.
This will be
Hi, welcome to Saturday
dark.
afternoon.
I love it.
Which is what, Twilight?
Oh, that's just wrong.
I know. So I said it.
This is just... I knew this was going to be a problem. How long until this episode gets demonetized? Well, considering we don't commercialize the podcast, we don't have to worry about that. But typically, when you do a live show, the person doing it, especially if they have a penchant for cursing, is going to try and keep the first 2 minutes clean, and then after that, you can let loose.
Yeah, and let's see, we are and there we go. Past 2 minutes. Go for it.
I read that as demonized.
Same difference.
Not
yeah,
wrong.
I'm here. It's just fail. Well, now that we've got some people here. No, there's more coming. Awesome. Phrasing again.
How appropriate.
So it's like a group thing, is what you're saying.
It's always been a group thing. Chat has always been here.
So
Yes, but have they been?
Is that
climaxing? That's what
participatory
we
or
need to know.
voyeuristic? Yeah,
Voyeuristic.
yeah. I was about to
And
say. I mean,
and participatory.
I'm not sure that you
Where-
can be both. Not at the same
well,
time.
I mean,
How do you define participation? If you are controlling the puppet strings, are you participating?
or if you're
you
just
put
like,
the left foot in, you pull the left foot out.
we're just goading them. I mean, where's the little slot that they're putting the quarters in for another 2 minutes?
I'm gonna be so fucking rich.
If you want to hear the answer to that question, please deposit $20 in V's account right now.
Oh, it must be Saturday afternoon. Howdy, folks, and welcome to another episode of the Dead Robot Society. I'm Paul E. Cooley. Joining me today, as always, Veronica Jaguar and Terry Mixon. How the hell are you fine folks? Don't all talk at once.
Fantastic. And still
Sassy and I, fine.
Sassy's
Terry.
like, wait, what? Why are you speaking for me, human? How
So
dare
everybody's alive and here. That's always good. That's a good start to the show.
you? That is.
V, what have you been up to?
I have been trying to be productive in recording in spite of a bathroom being remodeled. And I can say I am more than 50% through my current project. So I will definitely hit that deadline. Yay. And it's a different, every publisher has a slightly different workflow. This one that I'm working with, they ask that I upload stuff at the end of the day. So ideally
okay.
someone's chasing, like proofing as you're going.
Yeah.
Which is nice, and I appreciate that. And it's a nice way to make sure I have everything I need and it's buttoned up and sent off. But it means that because of the remodeling stuff, I've been recording much later in the day than I usually do.
Ah.
And I don't like that. I'd rather record like during daylight hours, but you do what you have to. That has really been most of my week, getting around, tile cutting, and bilingual swearing and cursing and yelling, because I love them and that's how they work. I'm pretty sure we have reached the point where the child is now acting as the parent in certain places. I just nod and smile and make sure that they're Band-Aids.
And run away as fast as you can.
I would feel bad, except I can't do anything. Like I do not have the expertise to do anything. I can walk into the room and they're like, yeah, well, we want to make sure that you like what's going on. I picked out the tile. I picked out the color scheme. I trust you to do everything else. I do not want to micromanage you. Oh, but you have to make sure you like the tile placement. Is the wall tile on the wall and is the floor tile on the floor? That's awesome. I'm going to go back and write because I can't record right now.
Those were, by the way, some very bold marble choices.
Yes. Yeah. So the wall, so the shower and then the stuff around our tub is a blue marble and the floor is a gray marble, and it complements it really nicely. And the vanity is going to be blue, dark blue, with a very, very pale gray marble-esque countertop. So yeah, the challenge in that room is that there's no natural light that comes in. So I didn't want any yellow undertones because that makes it look dingy. But yeah, so that has been my week. And I picked up a new audiobook I started listening to a series I had bought like a year ago and then never touched. But it is amazing.
Cool.
So it's N.K. Jemisin's 100,000 Kingdoms. Is that what it's called? She had talked about it in her masterclass, and it was not the first series that she sold, but it's very, very grown-up fantasy with a non-Western influence and like how they sort out the deities and magic and stuff.
Okay.
And Cassandra Freeman narrates it. She hasn't narrated a lot of stuff, but she does a really good job. Her voice is really distinct, and I'm enjoying the story. And I'm almost mad I'm not driving more to be able to listen to it in the car.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, but it's really good. And there are 3 books. I'm like halfway through the first book. Definitely enjoying it.
Cool.
What about you, Terry?
Yeah.
Let's see. We'll start off with the wife first. She's now a little bit past 2 weeks. So she went in on Friday to have them look at everything and check her range of motion. And her range of motion is better than what they were expecting to see. So
Cool.
She's doing good there. They told her that she didn't have to do physical therapy because she exceeded their marks. But she has a friend that's been a physical therapist for 40 years, one she went to high school with. And he said, he's done thousands and thousands of these. He said, people that don't do physical therapy for this will get 90 to 95% of their range of motion back. If you want more than that, if you're satisfied with that, that's all fine and good. But if you want more than that, you need to have physical therapy. So she sent them a note saying, I'll take it. Because they said, you can do it if you want it, but you don't have to.
Yeah, I made that mistake with my shoulder, so understood.
Yeah.
So what else?
See, writing is going okay. Talked over with Sugar Daddy, and based on how the story is laying out with this, I think this is going to be an 8-book series rather than a 9-book series, just because it'll be cleaner ending it where I am now. So I'm in the process of writing book 7, so another book and a half to wrap this series up and go back to Last Hunter.
Okay. So you're gonna all right. So you didn't end Last Hunter. Is you can go back to continuing?
Well, I left things open.
Okay.
There
so
would be a jump in. There would be a jump in time, but the characters would still be there. They closed up the events that they were dealing with, but I left a big thing lurking on the horizon 10 years out.
Okay, so you didn't close off the series. Gotcha.
No, I didn't close it off. I left it so that the younger people could step into the to the front roles, and be the main characters.
So you gave it a next generation option.
Something like that. Something like
Yeah.
that. When I went to the dealership to do something with my vehicle, I saw this big ass widescreen, ultra widescreen curved monitor on one of their desks, and I am now having monitor lust. So, this is totally appropriate for this show, climaxing and all. So now I'm like, I want one of those real bad. And I showed it to my wife. She said, "You mean us, right?"
You have to get a matching pair.
Oh,
that's
my
exactly
God,
right.
No. What are they? $3,000?
They were $1,500, $1,599, I think it was, on Samsung's site. And I understand they go on sale from time to time.
Oh my God. Monitor lust. Speak slower.
I mean, given all the graphics work that she does, it totally makes sense.
She's totally in love with the idea of having a wraparound monitor that she can just stretch things out on and have more space to deal with. And I'm fully on board with that, as long as I get one too.
Rick says, if I go to the car dealership, a computer monitor is not what I wind up wanting to buy.
Well, I already bought the car, so, I'm not going to buy another one. I'm perfectly happy with my 2025 Hyundai Tucson Hybrid Limited. It's perfect. I loves it.
It's a shame that they didn't have the monitor before. You could have added, and throw one in on the side.
That's right. Throw in the monitor, and we got a deal.
Oh my God, it's pathetic. It's pathetic.
What? It makes perfect sense. You can, if you're going to get your computer, and then you get the Apple Watch and the iPad with it. Why not? Buy your car, get the monitor, and.
Yeah, Rick, you want another pickup? I've got a '99 Ford Ranger, standard. I could toss your way.
Matt agrees they are a lust-worthy piece of kit.
Yeah, I understand that I have a 28-inch monitor, so that's it. I've only got a single monitor. I've been complaining that I needed a little bit more screen space as it is. So that got me to thinking, rather than, I've been pondering buying a second monitor and doing that. And then I'm like, well, if I'm gonna have to spend that kind of money, hey, I could go ahead and get the wraparound monitor and then take this one that I currently have and stick it up portrait and stick it off out to the side and have it all.
Greedy.
You're not going to hear any argument from any of us, I think.
Greedy.
I think what did they say, the resolution on this thing, what was it? It was, I'm bringing up the screen to show it now, 7680 by 2160. So that'll make Paul go, what?
I'm just trying to think of the complications of that many pixels.
And what would the complications of that many pixels be?
Resolutions for 4K. In other words, if you're looking at a YouTube video with lower resolution, it's going to look like somebody smeared your screen with petroleum jelly.
Well, I don't know about that. It's 140 pixels per inch, so it's in the UHD range. So it's apparent it can go 240 hertz refresh rate, which my high speed video card will not support the full resolution at that, and I don't need that anyway. I'll take 120.
Look, dude, have you ever gotten something gunky on your hands and accidentally rubbed a lens? That's what I'm talking about.
Accidentally.
See, Matt is here talking this. He says, what is cool is if you have two monitor outputs, you can drive it from two separate outputs. And this one is built to do that. It can, the videos that I looked at had somebody with a Mac on one side of it and a Windows on the other side of it just go into town.
Yeah, that's what my current monitor does. So it lets me work on my work computer when I need to. And then if I need to edit audio, I can switch it over to the studio computer and edit stuff out here. But
I'm not sure that you can go back and I'm not sure your mouse will go back and forth. I didn't actually pay close enough attention to it.
No, I
don't know
have
if that'll work.
No, I have
certain
two sets of
Logitech
keyboards
tools it
and
will.
two mice and way too many audio outputs.
With certain Logitech stuff, it will actually do that, where you can use one mouse to control multiple environments, and it will switch when you go to the other screen.
Okay. JR says, your tech speak might as well be Klingon. It makes no sense to normies. I'm not sure that you're a normie, JR. I'm afraid you haven't quite made it to the normie status yet. You're just a little odd on your own.
Well, apart from Terry's tech fetish, his new passion, as it were, there's not much to report on my end, except I have one more chapter to the Extinction Climax. One more chapter to record. And then I'm done with that portion, and then I can focus on the denouement. I've been holding back because I wanted to publish 5 chapters all at once on Patreon and Buy Me a Coffee. So, because I want them to be able to binge it. And then it'll be the cliffhanger and bastard because I'll take my time with the denouement. So if you don't want to know everything that happened, you're going to have to wait a while, you bastards. But I'm glad because I've almost got it done. Almost got it done. Yeah. Be wonderful. The Extinction Climax sounds oddly pornographic. Yes, Rick, I'm not surprised. So Paul's about to finish. You're waiting for the next Derelict book. Did you listen to Neptune Scars? It's not published, but it's not completely edited the way I would like to. But if you want a copy, I'll send you a copy of it. I can do that. So I didn't have any emergencies this week, which is awesome. So then I have a bad feeling that will change next week. We'll see. But until then, I want to talk about them there story things. I want them technical things. You know, you've got the beginning of the story, then you got that middle piece where things happen, and then what happens? Wow, y'all are not playing along today.
So you need to satisfy your curiosity about the peak, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Talk to me about this peak thing. It's not the little man in the canoe.
Wait a minute. Peeking, that sounds more like voyeurism. You know, are you a peeping Tom? What's going on here?
Peeking, not peeping.
I said what I said.
No, peeking, but P-E-A-K-I-N-G, not P-E-E-K-I-N-G or P-E-K-I-N-G if you're a duck.
What happens when you get to the top of the roller coaster?
Basically, your seatbelt comes off and you go flying into the air and have that long fall all the way to the bottom. And then there's a crime scene. And then Paul puts a toe tag on you and it just keeps going.
Yeah. And then there's an
Except for you.
investigation.
You're done.
And, yeah. But with what you're talking about, to play along, and ignoring the fact that a roller coaster is a terrible analogy because you have the peak and the drop at the very beginning so that you have momentum to carry you through for the rest of the ride.
Depends on how you build your roller coaster.
No, physics. You'd have to have... Okay, I'm not getting into this because you guys are going to have me on an engineering bit and I can't do this. And plus I have a kid who can argue this way better than I can because he's studying this in school. But you have to have some action that justifies the entire setup that you have spent, 60, 70% of your book talking about. You have to justify the action and the choices and the characters to that bit. And Xander, we will talk. I saw The Immortal Man. So good. So, but that's different. Great, but different. If you haven't seen it, oh my gosh, so good.
Duck hits your face if you're Fabio at the top of the roller coaster. Thank you, JR, for that.
That was
reference.
a goose. a goose hit his face.
Hands up, go wee. I don't go wee on a roller coaster. Too messy. I guess physics. Just want the close of the Peaky Blinders era to come back in style. Yeah, right.
You know, you can make that happen. All you got to do is start dressing that way.
Not
All
sure.
it takes is courage.
And a lot of money, because those clothes are going to be expensive.
Okay, learn how to sew.
Yeah, there you go. Learn how to sew.
Loads of patterns. But
Terry, you are the true pantser here.
Mm-hmm.
As true a pantser as I know.
I don't outline at all, so I am in fact a 100% pantser.
So, that said, how do you figure out where the climax is going to be and what it's going to be?
It all is about the stakes. You get toward the end of the story, you've got to gather together all the stakes so that you've got that all or nothing roll of the dice and make them struggle to pull out a win when it certainly looks like they've got an L coming their way. That's how you find the climax. It has to be the most important thing to them, and they have to struggle to overcome it. That is the climax.
Okay, fair enough. I think that's a good way of putting it. That said, is it possible to push climax too far?
Yes.
How so?
If you draw it out, rather than making it a struggle, a fight, and then a victory or a loss, then it's going to lose its impact and it's going to confuse the readers because it's not supposed to be something that's drawn out over a chapter or two. It's supposed to be an event. They can draw up to it. They can climb the hill toward it, but the actual climax has to be relatively brief in what's going on. I'm not saying it has to be a paragraph. It can be pages. It can be half a chapter, but it better not be more than a chapter. It better not, honestly, I'm not sure you should make it more than half of a chapter. You can't make it too much.
V, you're thinking.
I am. So, again, not a pantser, hardcore outliner. And it is possible to do too much edging because you're going to fatigue your reader. And then when you finally get to that climax, it will be satisfying.
If you do too much edging, then you're going to go ahead and pop the reader's cork before you actually get to where you want them to be.
This sounds more like gooning. If I understand the term correctly.
But but what Terry's saying about like how it's an event. It's a finale. So the finale for a book can encompass multiple chapters, depending upon how you structure things. Some people write books that have a ton of chapters. Some people write books that have shorter chapters.
Each character might have their own climax.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. If you write books with multiple POV characters, different characters have different climaxes in their character arcs, depending upon where that happens. But if you're talking about the story arc, you can have a finale that takes up multiple scenes. However, the climactic event, the ultimate, success or failure that, wraps up the book, that is, like, I agree. Terry's right. It's a single scene. It's a single event. You can have stuff around it that explains it and brings it up to that point, but you should be able to pinpoint what it is, what the action is for the group or the main character.
I always like to think of it as watching kaiju movies. Kaiju movies are not about the monsters, they're about the people. The monsters are there to provide the backbone of the story and everything else, but they're not on screen all the time because it would be boring as shit to watch them just sit there, do their everyday stuff. There'd be no dialogue, there'd be no real action apart from when they stomp buildings and things like that. It'd get boring really fast. It really would. So if you go back and you look at the monster movies, the climaxes are actually between what the people are doing, what the monsters are doing, what the people are doing, what the monsters are doing. It's everybody trying to get away from the creature or solve their goal while the creature is doing whatever it's doing with whomever. That is the climax itself, because after that, there's nothing. They either win or they lose. But it would get boring if it went so long where you had to deal with maybe a group of 7 or 8 people where you had to do the climax for each and every character. Would get kind of old really fast too, in my humble opinion. So those are kind of rules I think you gotta, are kind of guidelines that you should kind of put down when you're thinking about the end of the story or reaching that point. So it's really just a matter of feel, I think, coupled with just some rational thought. It just, if it's going to be boring, you did it wrong. It's got, it just, I'd rather see it be punchy and live in the reader's mind than go into gross detail for 10 pages or 20 pages about this fight. I'd rather have it be realistically as short as I can make it and as exciting as I can make it, and then have it just done. And then we can deal with the consequences. So, but that's just me. I know there are some of you like, do you like the epic ending where everybody's like, oh my God, oh, it's terrible. The dragon is eating everybody. Whatever. Edging is a form of gooning. Okay. Oh, it's Luke blowing up the Death Star using the Force.
Well,
He kind of did.
For A New Hope, yeah, it is, because he's in the fighter, he's going through the channel, and he can't target stuff, so he hears the mysterious voice of "Use the Force, Luke," and
Trust your feelings.
The Force will
wrong
be with you
feelings.
always.
Those are the bad feelings, Terry.
Trust in your feelings, Luke. I can just see the porn parody now. Oh my God, it's gonna be terrible.
But it's and we've gone from New Hope to Spaceballs. Awesome.
The little man in the land speeder. Got it.
Oh goodness. But that's the point. That's the event. It's that one scene where he is in the fighter going down that channel, having to shoot stuff and get it on that single point, and then goes and veers off. Kablooey. Yay. They win.
Rowdy says the hard part for me is the cigarette after the climax. Once the book climaxes, it's over for me.
Well, okay, so Paul was
terrible
talking about
lover
the
you
denouement.
must be.
See, now, here you're talking about writing the denouement, so
looking at the no context quote here, I touched it before I smoked it, says J.R. Handley.
Denouements are an interesting problem. And they vary, just like the climax, okay? If you're wrapping up a series, the climax and the denouement is going to have to be a bit longer because you got to wrap up the lives of these people who the readers have spent a long time with, potentially. If it's a shorter book and there's no series in it, then it's a little bit easier to do. You don't have to make it a big dramatic deal. It's just basically, here's where the characters left off, and now they're, happily ever after, or they're fucked for life. Whatever it is that you end up writing your ending. So I like a not a long drawn out denouement, but at the same time, I found with Extinction that there was so much shit that I had to basically explain and have the characters realize that takes a little bit longer of a denouement. So just to wrap up the series. Plus I'm planting something because I have to, and I can't help myself because I'm good at it. Anyway.
So is it more, do you think the denouement is more important for a series than a standalone?
No, no. I think if you go and you look at some of the action thrillers, the denouement may be a chapter, right? It may be 3,000 words, kind of like the climax. It just may not need to be very long. I mean, basically, the cops got the bad guy, and we're just having that smoke in the coffee shop, and that's the denouement.
It's the shawarma at the end of Avengers.
It's the shawarma at the end of Avengers. It's exactly
So
right.
sometimes the denouement is a bonus scene.
Yeah, you could say that. Jared says, serious on-topic question. Do you write the climax differently if it is the end of a series versus the book in the middle? Yes. I do. Because, and by the very nature of it being a series, you've raised the stakes as high as they get, I would think. Depending on how your series is actually a completion. But that requires the build-up to be a hell of a mountain. But you still need that denouement for it. But the climax, yeah, because I want to put more bumps in the road before we get there. With Extinction, I kind of went all out. Actually, I could have taken it further. I probably should have taken it further, but it went where it went. How does that differ from an epilogue?
A denouement is a cool down from what just occurred, whereas an epilogue, there is a period of time that typically passes between.
It could be as short as a few hours, but it's kind of like the prologue. I like the prologues where the characters could not possibly see what kicked things off. That's something only the reader can see. And at the epilogue, you could actually go back and do that again. Only this time it's the characters you're showing off instead of what kicked it off.
So in parlance of, the flavor of the topic, the denouement is the cigarette, the epilogue is the coffee the morning after.
Epilogue is like the aftercare post-climax, Xander says. How do you know that? Paul can't just kill off everyone if he has future ideas planned. Oh man, you'd be so surprised. Anyway,
Sorry, I'm thinking about what Xander said. I'm like, I don't know. It could be, but
no. The denouement is sharing the cigarette after the epilogue is getting dressed.
Or it's waking up and trying to get out the window before the other person wakes up.
What book are you writing?
What
kind of shit is your character?
Sir.
I can see that absolutely fitting in a sports romance. I mean, really.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my God, what did I bring home last night?
Actually, she wakes up alone, but he's down in the kitchen making coffee, so that doesn't really count. Oh well.
Yeah, they escape in the morning is the start of a story. That's true.
Also true.
Some books have multiple climaxes. Yes, they do.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they do. Because you have multiple arcs.
Mm-hmm.
And like in, Extinction, there's multiple climaxes in there because I have multiple groups doing multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
And then on top of that, the antagonists are doing multiple things, and there are multiple. So it can get complicated where you try and find the single climax. I think it's character dependent at that point, or maybe the arc dependent, depending on how many plot arcs you actually have in. But the big one should be the big one. Should be the last one.
Yes.
Lucky.
Yeah,
books.
there are always moments in the story where, something ups the stakes. But at the very end,
Rowdy, I'm almost blushing saying this. Multiple climaxes is a porn industry lie.
I'm reserving my commentary for After Dark.
I am also reserving my commentary for the After Dark.
After Dark, oh my God. What have you done? Oh, why did I name this episode what I named it? Anyway, those books are faking those climaxes.
Look, I have maintained that romance, like contemporary romance chick lit, is a form of fantasy.
Yeah.
It totally is. Because there are convenient happily ever afters. There are caricatures of perfect people, perfect situations, perfect partners, and the flaws are always, somehow overcome. That's fantasy right there. Doesn't make me like it any less.
Jar says the topic went off the rails because they have to wait until After Dark to get railed.
Who has to wait
until After
Dark? You poor boring people.
Oh, romance is fantasy. Real men or women would be boring.
True.
9 times out of 10, you are correct. You are correct. I know there's a lot of... There's just no drama for some people.
He was right.
About
Do we have swear jar for that? Like you tell JR he's right, you got to put a quarter in.
I can't believe I did that.
Even a stopped clock is right twice a day.
True.
How do you have fake climaxes in your books? When the
Some people do.
When the characters realize that what they thought they were fighting ain't what they're fighting. It's something else entirely, and it's even worse.
Yes, those are that. What is that? You have some people call them pinch points in a story, and that's when the stakes get upped.
Look at
that is, yeah.
Oh God, what is the story? Grendel.
Beowulf.
What's the story? Beowulf. Thank you. Beowulf has one which is defeating Grendel. That's a fake climax. Because really the story is about the mother. Grendel is important, but really the story is about what happens with the mother. In my mind, anyway.
Well, and with a lot of story outlines or outline methods, that midpoint, it can be a false victory.
Mm-hmm.
And you can build stuff up. And it's like, yay, we did something. And then everything goes to shit afterwards for the next, 25% of the book. So
or 50%.
that, or if Paul's writing at 50%, but that is a case of where the stakes get raised a bit, or you can have, a false, defeat where you tried something and it failed miserably. And now you're suffering the consequences, and the second part of your swampy middle is digging yourself out and trying to build up the reserves, the strength, the confidence, the resources, what have you, to make it to the finale and be able to get to that climax in the story.
Okay. That's a very Dresden fix. Solution makes everything worse. You're very right, Matt. You're very right. Buffy also does that on occasion too, where they think whatever that they're going to do just makes things so much worse. Let's see, James says, I still want the Black Hallmark story. It was an eldritch horror. She owned a small town bakery. Just
Nothing's
a lonely
stopping
blob.
you from writing it.
Just a lonely blob. I can see the Journey song right now. Anyway, don't stop baconating. I don't know what to call it. Anyway, that notwithstanding, the Black and Hallmark story would be just so fucked up. I should write that for humorous content. You guys would be rolling your eyes the whole time. All right, so we talked about that. What about endings? How long are they expected to be? Jared says he wants a longer ending or longer climax. Does that mean you have to have a longer ending?
I don't think so, because who really pays attention to what JR wants?
apart from that,
J.R. Handley notwithstanding.
the JR's never had a climax, says Rowdy. Oh boy. I'm thinking of it, for instance. The book is long. The book is long. It is a long book, but it's covering, two spans of times. Yes, this is what I was reaching for. Just a small town girl living in an eldritch world. She took the midnight train going arg. Just two kids from Immaculate Conception.
There is absolutely nothing about JR that is immaculate. Nothing whatsoever.
As I was saying, in it, if memory serves, each character, and there are quite a few of them that still survive, they each get like a chapter or 2 chapters. It's like a full regaling of what happened to them afterward, as far as like reports and things and newspaper clippings and all that kind of crap that you get with it. So it's a long way to say goodbye to the characters. And of course it's like that because King just can't fucking help himself. He just can't. They could be shorter. They could be much shorter, as I remember.
Do you think that's something that audiences or readers expect now?
I think it is. I think they've been trained.
Because people, when the story is about the characters, people struggle to let go of a character, especially a character that's written really well, or that, was majorly affected by something in the story. They want to know, like, are they going to be okay?
Yeah.
What happens afterwards? And they want confirmation that there will or there will not be more. And I think that's also what that your dating law, your epilogue can do, is just kind of, put a button on it and say, nope, we're done. Or, oh no, you should really look out for, the next book or the next story. This is what's going to lead into it.
Yeah. And that's the trick when you're writing a series as opposed to standalones. But at the same time, standalones, will you get off my keyboard, cat? There are some times where you're not expecting it to be a series, like The Black, but I left it open-ended for what happened to those 2 characters because there was no way to close it off without having the happy ending where everybody saves them and all things are cool. And I didn't want to write that ending. I wanted to leave it open. And then I knew I was going back to Arrival, and I knew I was going to Outbreak. But I didn't know that when I started writing it. Oh, yeah. In Lord of the Rings, the hobbits had to battle for their town after the climax. Longest denouement ever.
Just remember that it was written 100 and some odd years ago, and styles have changed.
Very true.
Mm-hmm.
Paul said, get off my keyboard, cat, and the cat jumped on Terry. I didn't notice that. I've been told my endings suck. And then I've been told my endings are awesome. And I think it just depends on who you ask and what book it is.
Sure, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I end them my way. Yeah, it was not written 100 years ago. It was written in the 30s, right? It's almost 100 years.
I was about to say.
Yes, I have endings. I have endings for lots of characters in the middle of the book.
He's not wrong.
Tolkien took 5 pages to describe a tree. Doesn't surprise me. Proust wrote like 100 pages about a bush. I wish I was kidding. They're not happy endings. Well,
so
I take issue with that.
So Terry, as someone who's writing series and who is 100% pantser, how do you decide what gets wrapped up at the climax and what is left to kind of like dangle and tease until the next book?
As you get toward the middle of the book and you're starting in toward the end, you start to see the goals that the characters are pursuing that are immediate as opposed to long-term. There are certain things that they are struggling with that have to be ended soon or they're going to end them. And those are the things that must be wrapped up.
Yep.
So it's a character-driven priority.
Yes. Everything I write is character-driven. I would say that literally everything I do is character-driven because I don't plot anything out. What the characters do, the things that they see, the things that they find important, it drives everything about what I do.
Let's see. JR asks, do I ignore a seminal work of fiction just because it's seminal? Old? If you chase trends, your own book might never become timeless. I'm not interested in chasing trends. I don't ignore a seminal work of fiction because it's old. I just reread all of H.P. Lovecraft's compendium. That's pretty fucking old. I have quite a few old horror books in my some from the 1800s that I've been reading. Yeah, I like character-driven fiction, even the necromancer stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've just written my first happy ending. Didn't like it. Won't do it again. Matt says.
1 star. Would not recommend.
Would not recommend. Oh, you mentioned not using the model of Tolkien for the ending. I didn't mention that. Somebody else said that. Maybe it did.
I did not mention it. I was saying that it's not exactly what one should be doing. I think JR mentioned it.
Someone talked about the fact that, yeah. I've read Tolkien. I've read it all. Not I. I think basically in today's world, if you write that and there's an epilogue where they have a battle or something like that, it seems like that's not an epilogue. And if you've got a denouement, it should be the falling action. The falling action should be another battle. In other words, you've got another climax in there, hiding.
So a double climax? Those are rare, buddy. Those are rare. Those are unicorn rare, buddy. For guys, anyway.
JR says, fair. Nowadays, the epilogue is more than a slice of life post-big event.
Yeah.
Is more often, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think, like Terry said, I think it's just a matter of tastes have changed. I mean, you write where you're going to write. Me as a reader, I expect that the denouement is not going to be another book. As Terry said, if you've got a few more chapters, if your epilogue has more chapters, then maybe it's not an epilogue yet. I disagree
maybe it's
with
just
him.
The next book in a series.
Maybe it's the next book in the series. I disagree with him on certain edge cases of books that I've read, but for the most part, he's got a point. He's got a point.
I think the bigger epilogues are that's more of a trend with indie authors than trad pub authors. Because if you're only publishing, and it's also, and the other thing with epilogues, with indies, they're also used as like reader magnets or newsletter magnets. But you have to write them well. That's the other thing.
Damage to characters, 0. More death required. Student must try harder. Rowdy says they usually have 1 or 2 chapters after the climax. Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah.
I usually only go for 1 chapter, but, it's a matter of taste.
It also depends on how much shit you got to wrap up. It could be a 5,000-word chapter. I'd rather break that into 2 pieces. Let's see. So a story should be a YouTube episode, epilogue, a TikTok after the fact. Yeah, I can see that analogy.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that. That works. But Terry is never very mean to his characters, so the recovery time is shorter, JR says.
I'm pretty mean to JR.
When have you ever put JR in a story and not killed him?
He's been killed twice in Empire of Bones. I brought him back to life so I could kill him again.
I did clarify and not killed him. I did clarify. How mean are you to your characters anyway, Terry?
Not very.
I like mine to be scarred up, man. Especially in the Derelict Saga, they are scarred up. I like it that way. On certain individuals, you can see the battle etched into every part of them. Yeah, you wanted to get killed in fiction, I know. The most bloodless death ever. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Quite right.
Oh, that's right. We talked about that last week.
We did.
Was that in After Dark? I think it was in After Dark. Can't remember.
It all
By the
blurs
way,
together.
this coffee's pretty good.
Good.
Oh.
Always wanted to write a book that is essentially an epilogue to a story, because trying to explain the deaths of all the possessed or other madness would not be hard to explain. Would be hard to explain. The deaths of all the possessed.
That is a really interesting idea.
That's a coda. That's a coda. That's in orchestra, you've got basically the whole orchestral thing. Then you've got this other piece that's off of it that's related to it, but it's kind of its
and
own thing.
Then you throw sarcasm there. And the thing is, I read it. I read what James wrote differently, and it was right. And I guess my brain went writing a book about someone dealing with the epilogues of characters and always like seeing endings, almost like epitaphs. And I'm like, that would be kind of cool. But yeah, I'm not allowed any more projects right now.
That's what you keep saying.
But it's Matt says, but it's character scars that make them interesting. No one's a perfect character. I agree with that. JR says, what happens in horror after the last big battle? How do you explain the bodies, etc.? That could be an interesting idea. Well, you have to take the cops into consideration, or your monster's got to leave nothing behind, like the Black. It leaves behind metal, and that's about it. It's the cleanest. It is. I did come up with the cleanest monster that has ever existed. So I just want to put that out there.
Very tidy.
Very tidy after itself. Yep. In traditional horror books, you typically have the. Oh, you thought that's what James Turrell was suggesting? Gotcha. In horror books, you typically have a chapter or two afterwards if the main character, whoever is the survivor of the story is, if there's deaths involved. That's where you're going to find out about any information that they inferred but couldn't confirm. And then as far as the bodies go, then you have to basically, if it's a slasher flick, you usually have the final person going off to the hospital and the cops are in there and they know everything that's going on with the bodies. You cut away, you're fine, right? You don't even need an epilogue necessarily. But an epilogue would be good of her in the hospital and finding out all the people that were killed, and then reflecting on how fucking lucky they are that they survived. Those kinds of things. But it could also be that the character doesn't survive. I think it's the end of The Running Man. Stephen King's The Running Man. I haven't seen the movie, the new one. But if I remember correctly, the main character is somehow flying into a building where the TV studio is, and the big TV studio director turns and watches this plane, and right before it crashes, he can see the main character doing this through the windows as he's coming straight in to smash him, both middle fingers up. That's how that book ends. There's no denouement. It's just flat into a wall.
It's delayed karma or delayed consequence.
Let's see. James said, trying to explain the deaths of all possessed or other madness would not be hard to explain. Was sarcastic. How would anyone believe you?
Depends on who's doing the explaining what their role is in the universe.
This is very true. It starts after the battle. JR says, nobody said King was good at writing endings, though. I would say that he dawdles. And in some cases, he misses the mark. But when he hits it, he knocks it completely out of the park. But he's gotten older. I think it's harder and harder for him to hit the target. That's just me. I like a lot of his work, but I'm not like a fanatic. That's not who I am. I have a lot of respect for him, though. He's a prolific son of a bitch. And obviously, he was part of the 80s and 90s zeitgeist. Even now, we're seeing movies made of his older stuff as well as his new stuff. So, not much you can do about it. It's the same thing as Brandon Sanderson. What are they making? 3 more series out of his stuff now? Way of Kings, I think. And there's some other one that they're doing. So he'll be in the zeitgeist for the 2010s, 2020s. Yeah, because the movie industry is out of new ideas. We have plenty of ideas for them. Come shop with the indies and we'll tell you some really interesting stories. Stupid fuckers.
There have been great examples of indie and small press folks getting picked up, and well, that's heated rivalry for you. So
the movie industry is not out of new ideas. About 4% of movies are actually remakes, and yet how much of the budget do they get? If you compared the budgets, how much do the remakes actually command? I wonder. Yeah, a lot of what they're doing is nostalgia grabs. Yes, that's correct.
Because, and especially when people are stressed or in times of crisis, people reach for stuff that is familiar and comfortable, and sometimes remakes are familiar and comfortable. And then you have cases of where
god awful.
Usually. I mean, there's I think it's rare that you get a remake that is as good or better than the original.
Yeah. I would agree. I think
I've only seen one, maybe 2. And they were TV series, and they were like BBC series, and they were redos of a series that had been done like in the 70s. Mm. But they're like historical dramas.
Let's see. Matt says not out of new ideas, just prefer safe options.
Yeah.
And now James is throwing in, or Rick said, Gen Xers and Boomers have all the money right now. That is agreed. I'll tell you a story about that in a second. James is mentioning The Fly, The Thing. I can also mention The Wolfman they just did a little while ago. The Phantom, or not The Phantom, The Invisible Man they just did a while ago. And there's one other movie they did that was a reimagining of old monster movies. Actually, I think it's A24. Do Frankenstein.
They just redid Frankenstein.
Yeah, but I'm talking about this is like a series of movies from A24 or somebody. I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
So they're all in that. But those have been pretty good. Some of them are hit and miss, but if you're talking about The Thing versus The Thing from Another World, yeah. And they also have they're about as similar as they're not very similar. In a lot of ways, they're not very similar at all. If you're comparing Vincent Price's The Fly to the Jeff Goldblum Fly, big difference in everything that goes on there because the technology changed, so the story could change. Let's see, GR says, with the shrinkage of each successive generational cohort, it distorts the market so the money group ages and thus the status quo exists. See, Mom, my sociology minor wasn't useless.
Where's Antoine? We're not. We don't have our resident, economist here.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. We'll have to give him shit about that. We'll have to. Well, it's time to bring this to a close. It's been fun. Thank you for coming and joining us. Phrasing intended. Hope you had a good time. If you have a comment or question about this episode, you can visit deadrobotssociety.com. Punch that contact button, send us an email. Or you can go to this episode on YouTube and leave a comment there for us, and we will see it. Speaking of, you can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/DRS Podcast, where we are live every Saturday at 3 p.m. CST, except when we're not. Like and subscribe so you know when we're live. And if you want to support the show, you can find us at patreon.com/DRS podcast and buymeacoffee.com/DRS podcast, where for as little as $1 a month, you can get access to exclusive live shows like the ones coming up in about 10 minutes. And at the $10 level, you get your name read. And our $10 patrons are Juan Valentin, James Terrell, Nate Cole, Xander, Antoine Batts, Lisa Slack, and Tim Niederreiter. Thank you to all of our patrons for making this show possible. We might have a new sponsor.
Oh, no. What? What madness is this?
We might have a new sponsor. We'll see.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll see. And with that, we're getting the hell out of here. So have a great rest of your Saturday. Patrons, we'll see you in just a few minutes. Bye.
Bye-bye.